welcome to the Rod and Cyndee podcast. How are we doing today? It's been a long time since I've got to talk to you. How's Cyndee doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Welcome to the Cyndee and Rod podcast, you all. Thanks for tuning in. It's going to be a fun ride. It's been a while. We've had some vacay going on and some things happening, and we're ready to get back in groove here.
That's funny. Did you say Cyndee and Rod podcast?
I did.
Not the Rod and Cyndee podcast?
No, you caught on today. You're such a smarty pants.
Yeah, thank you, dear. I am a smarty pants. That was fun, honey.
It was fun.
We should maybe we have our listeners take a vote on that. Should it be the Rod and Cyndee podcast or the Cyndee and Rod podcast?
There you go. Vote now.
Vote now. And get a free Cyndee t-shirt. Rod. Anyway.
That's my subliminal.
I don't love your subliminal. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
I know.
Oh
There's been a lot of changes, a lot of shifting, and, it's all good.
Yep, it is all good.
It's beautiful to be back.
What kind of changes have you had lately?
I've had changes in my attitude.
Oh, my gosh. Is that possible?
It is.
Oh, good.
Truth be told, a lot of good changes, just some shifting and some lovely spiritual things happening. And my kids, I have one son that moved back from California and one that moved to Tucson, so it's super exciting for them and for me, and it's all good.
That is exciting. I know it's when your oldest came back from California that you had both boys here at the same time. That was pretty exciting for you, wasn't it?
It was short-lived, like a week or maybe two. I don't even remember now exactly. It wasn't very long, but it was absolutely delightful. And the great thing is, even though the younger one, Nick, is in Tucson going to U of A, he's still close. And my older one, Anthony, he's here and he's doing a job, and he'll be going to ASU as well. So
wow.
I'm so proud of them.
College kids.
Yes, they are.
Yep, I have 3 kids myself.
Yeah.
I went in on my little vacation and I got to visit 2 of them. One lives in South Dakota, one lives in Idaho.
Yay!
And one lives here in Arizona. So it was very nice. I'm very proud of my children too. My oldest, she's just had her second child, and she's just a remarkable woman. That you got to taste some of her jam I brought back.
Oh my goodness, it was delicious.
Oh my, isn't she
strawberry
great?
rhubarb.
Strawberry rhubarb
wonderful.
Jam. Isn't that something else?
Yes.
Yeah, and myself, I brought pickles back too, and I know you're not a big pickle fan, but we tried her pickles, and it was really good too. I loved her pickles. Your mom loved her pickles too. Oh my gosh, she's quite the little Susie homemaker in that.
It's great.
Absolutely.
Well, when you live in the cold country, you got to learn how to can and jar, to survive.
Can and jar, I like that. Can and jar. You Phoenicians have no idea.
I have no idea. I don't even know what snow is really about.
Can and jar. That's hilarious. But then I headed up to see the 1,000 Buddhas.
Oh my gosh, you showed me pictures of that.
Wasn't it amazing?
Just wow.
I wish you were there. You could have seen it. Just the feeling of it.
Someday, one day.
Yep, absolutely. And, it's understandable. You had things to do, while I was on my trip, so you weren't able to come along with that. So that's all good. Then we can do this again some other time. Those 1,000 Buddhas was amazing.
Wonderful.
A little story. I don't know if you know about this. I think I tell you everything anyway. I talk 15 times a day. But
seriously.
I know. So I'm in Montana where this 1,000 Buddhas are. And everywhere I went, I found out, because there's been forest fires all over the place. And there was a gas station and stuff. Is there any forest fires ahead of me? Where are you heading for? I said, I'm sent for the 1,000 Buddhas are Missoula, Montana. And they said, well, an hour ago, it started raining here. This rain just, stopped all the forest fires.
Yeah.
Exactly, along the road there. And I was like, really? Yeah, you won't run into any forest fires. They're out now. So I kept driving. I got all the way up to the 10,000 Buddhas. And my heart was broken out the night before that because I had called my son. And he lives in Idaho. And he says, Dad, you're not going to be able to come see me. We're completely surrounded by forest fires.
Yeah, those forest fires are going on for quite a while.
Absolutely.
Or, for several days or even weeks, I think.
Months.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. And so I was kind of heartbroken. It's like, I'm not going to get to go see my son. So I'm at the Thousand Buddhas, and I have no idea because we don't use maps anymore. We have a GPS, a 4x4 screen that we look at. We have no idea where we're at. We just follow that little dot as it travels through. And I'm just giving my homage and everything else, and that Thousand Buddhas, and then my heart was just like, singing inside, because it was so beautiful. The energy there was amazing. You can't even understand until you've been there to this Thousand Buddhas how amazing this was. So I'm sitting there in the car, and I'm just feeling it. I didn't even want to feel like driving yet, getting back on the road. So I punched in my son's address into the GPS just to see how far away it was. Your destination is 45 minutes away.
What?
It's exactly. I was like, are you kidding me? So I call him up and say, hey, I'm 45 minutes away. He goes, hey, Dad, the forest fires are just like going away. An hour ago, it started raining. Are you kidding me?
Miracles.
Yeah, so I got in the car and I hightailed to there.
Lovely.
So I got to spend a lot of time with him. It was really a lot of fun.
Lovely. Perfect.
Absolutely. There's got a lot of great stories about it. That's another time to share the rest of the stories and that. But yeah, I want to take you through that. That was some beautiful stuff.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Next time when you have time.
Absolutely.
I've been really busy with that. Both with your boys and a friend of ours, both yours and mine, that you call her sister, and she's a sweetheart, and her daughter got married when I was gone.
Absolutely, yeah.
Poor planning by my count, So,
well, things always happen for their reasons.
There's reason for everything.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes. I'm glad you had a really good time with that.
Thank you.
Yep. So life's been really good lately, though, too. That a lot of great changes. The reason I could take this little vacation was that I sold Beyond Today. You and I, we worked really hard to build this up in the last couple of years and everything else, and make it something. It's been going on for almost 8 years. But between you and I doing some classes and podcasts and things like that, we really worked on building Beyond Today up. So it's we sold to a beautiful woman and gifted it, I guess, basically to a beautiful woman, and it's in good hands. Beyond Today is
absolutely. Everything comes to an end at some point, and because there's new beginnings, and as we all know, this is a year of new beginnings. And Rod, you in your birth chart, your birth year, whatever, you are in a 9, so you're kind of both ends of the sword there, right? You're at the endings and beginnings.
Yes.
So there you are, and
yes.
And you're right. You were able to take that trip, because you're able to, sell Beyond Today and move forward in your life and make some, fun and unique changes. Like I said, you've been doing this for a really long time, or having the business of Beyond Today for a long time. Now you get to still do what you love to do, your energy work and spiritual work and what have you, but now you get to do it in a broader way, in a different way.
Absolutely. That kind of excites me in many different ways too, is because of that, I have a chance to even broaden my spirituality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get to teach more and everything else. And I got some really great ideas, on the trip with that about what I want to teach and how I want to teach and that. And one of the big things keeps coming out is love. Teaching love. And, I have to thank you for that, Cyndee. A lot of this stuff is you've helped teach me a lot about this. And some of the stuff that you've been going through lately and your channeling and a lot of signs and everything else have been pointing towards that yourself, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That gets back to what I had said earlier when we just got started with our podcast here, the spiritual things that have been happening and showing up, and it's just like, wow, there truly is something amazing out there.
You care to share some of those things? I mean, there's some pretty crazy stuff in that. So warning to the audience, that this is real. Has really actually happened. We have documentations and everything of that, and some really crazy good stuff, though.
Absolutely. When I say our, Rod's and my experiences started evolving. It was actually November of, or started happening, I should say, November of 2014 or 15? 14, yeah.
14, yeah, absolutely.
I got this random message. It had a picture on it, an emoji, and 777, and it was on my iPad. I'm like, what the heck is that? And I asked Rod. He goes, I don't know what that is. And so it was quite the mystery. We're like, okay, this is interesting. now fast forward a little bit to February of that next year, and he sent me a text. And then to follow that was the letter W, and I'm like, what is that?
So what happened after that?
Well, it's amazing because a lot of things happened. That was just the beginning of all these amazing phenomenons, let's just say, pictures coming through and messages coming through and phones lighting up and phones calling me and just all kinds of crazy but amazing things. And it's like, where do you start? Except that was the beginning.
Well, to start with what just happened here at the studio.
I know we had to stop because actually the machine stopped.
Everything just stopped.
Yeah.
What an amazing thought. I mean, just as crazy. It started where we needed to start it all over again, but that was crazy. It just shut the computer down. It shut off of the recording, and it just stopped. Nothing worked in here.
I know.
And then so we were playing it back, and what happened?
It played it backwards on its own a couple times. Like, what is going on here?
And trust me, this is not a possession or anything else. It's just high in intensity energy. That's all it is.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, when they get together, they can do some amazing things.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe how amazing that things can happen, and it's just outrageous. I enjoy every minute of this. By the way, it's really funny is that a little bit of story about my trip. That since we started that too, is that you got a little upset. Not you don't get upset easy in that, but you were frustrated with some things in that, and I felt it in Portland, Oregon. And I kept telling her all through the trip, don't, your emotions are really high, your energy is really high in that. I said, you exude that energy, you're going to, I'm going to feel it. And she usually shuts my phone off or computer off or something when her emotions get high. But I'm sitting in Portland, Oregon at a stoplight, and I have an electric car that I rented. Yeah, it shut the electric car off. It shut the stoplight off. It shut everything off. Everything shut down. And I knew it was her right away. It was like, oh my gosh, what's going on with Cyndee? So I got everything restarted, the car started and everything else. And I sent her a text. I was like, you okay? And no response or anything. So I called her and said, you all right? And still no response or anything. And just come to find out that she was a little frustrated with one of her side works that she does here. And it's nothing that she can't take care of, but you could feel that, and we felt that in Oregon, the car and me and all the electronics.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Cyndee is a projector. She projects energy, and she's been able to do that for quite a while now. We've been having pictures that get projected on the wall. Cyndee sends energy to different places and projection and everything else. And so when you can feel her emotions, and anybody that knows Cyndee knows that they can feel her emotions. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Oh, it's greatly amazing. Yeah, just like you said, projecting things out there. If I think of something, a lot of times it'll happen, and it's like there's stories upon stories and things. It's like, where do you start? But getting back to, we might as well just start back with the trip, even though I did refer back to when it really first started. But just reflecting back at your trip, you were at our friend Cynthia's house and her boyfriend Leo, and your computer started talking, right?
Yes, exactly,
your laptop started, talking.
Yes.
And I'll let you tell this part because you know this part. This is on your end.
Well, it's pretty funny is that Cynthia and Leo live in this treehouse-like house. It's just beautiful there, And Leo isn't as much of a spiritual person as Cynthia and I are. Okay, he's more in the real world, type aspect of that. It has to be some scientific reason for everything, kind of in his head a little bit. We love him to death. He's a great man. He one morning, him and I got up, and Cynthia was still in bed, and him and I were talking in the living room. And all of a sudden we heard something noises, like Cynthia talking in the kitchen. So we walked out to the kitchen, and we're looking around. We go to my laptop. There's my laptop, and Cynthia's talking out of my laptop. Like, no way. This is crazy. And we're looking at it, and so I pulled it up. I shut everything down on the laptop. It's like, nope, 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 no. We can't have this happen. We're laughing about it. And so all of a sudden his phone started acting up and everything. My phone started acting up. It's like, are you serious? You know, my phone was on its last leg. I've had it for almost 4 years, you know. It wasn't doing well anyway because Cyndee's energy. And so I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Please don't ruin my phone yet. And that. So we go back down. Now remember, everything's shut off on the computer. Everything's been shut down. And all of a sudden we heard my voice talking.
Wow.
And Leah goes, that's you. And I said, I know. I've heard my voice before. I know that's me. And so we walk into the kitchen again. And on the kitchen table, there's my laptop. That it's coming out of my laptop. We open my laptop up. There's no service on there. There's nothing. There's no application up. There's nothing. It's the laptop's off, but my voice is coming through there. Like, wow, we couldn't really make out what I was saying. So I was like, I don't know what else to do with it. So I took the battery out of my laptop. So I have no battery in my laptop. The laptop's down there because I can see this kind of freaking Leo out a little bit. So we go back into the living room, start talking some more and everything else. And I think we're watching Uncle Grandpa cartoon. Leo and I like cartoons. So we're sitting there watching a cartoon, and then all of a sudden we hear your voice, Cyndee's voice. And it sounds like she's in this big auditorium talking to thousands of people and that. And then it sounds like she's doing the benediction. And we both heard this. Well, Cynthia gets up now because she's hearing stuff too and that. We walk in there, it's coming from my laptop. Now my laptop's off, there's no battery on it, there's no electricity going to it, there's nothing on my laptop that can even produce this. And we're all hearing that. We're hearing Cyndee saying to a large crowd of people, and then they're repeating something back to her. And Cynthia and Leo are going, oh my gosh, that's Cyndee. And I said, yeah, it is. We had no idea what was going on with that. It was just kind of crazy to just experience that.
Oh, heck yeah. And this, my folks out there, our folks out there, this is the kind of things that we're talking about that happened between Rod and I. And so meanwhile, while his laptop was, you know, having each of us talk about something, whatever it was, I, on my phone, got a picture sent to me. And I'm like, so I looked at it, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's a picture of, it's like a drawing picture of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And we have been connected with that a lot, you know, like it comes to us. We don't necessarily go to it, like the Magdalene and Jesus, that energy and pictures and things like that come to us. I have a whole bunch of, you know, saved pictures that were sent. But anyway, so this picture was sent to me. So I sent it to Cynthia and she got it. And then that's when she shortly after that got up and then heard, you know, my voice talking through the computer and everything. And then I guess a little while later, Rod, right, you went to go to your laptop or turn it on or something, and there was your whole screen was full of multiple pictures
Absolutely.
of Jesus and Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, exactly. Multiple pictures of Jesus and Mary all over the laptop. Remember, there's nothing signed into it. I didn't log into it or anything else, and that it hadn't even started up yet. That was the face picture on the. There's no even a battery in there yet, you know. And I just pick up the lid of the laptop, and there it is. And so I took a picture of it and sent you. Well, right after that, Leo's phone goes dead. My phone goes dead. We have no phone service. Leo and I cannot get into our phones. We can't. I mean, it's like the energy has just been drained from it. He's got his plugged in. I got mine plugged in. And neither of them's taking a charge.
Oh, jeez.
So Leo's like, I got to go into town. I got to get myself a new phone. And that's like, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to get myself a phone too. I was like, I can't live the rest of my trip, you know, without a phone.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
I talk to you 15 times a day, you know. What would I do? You know, send you smoke signals?
Exactly, right.
So it's like, okay, I have to do this. So what do? I get up and we go out into town and everything else. And it was the craziest thing is that we couldn't find anybody to work on the phones. Nobody wanted to touch our phones, basically. So I ended up going to Walmart and buying a phone. It's kind of cool, you know. I'm not plugging Walmart or anything else, but that's all we had there. And I used this beautiful phone they have, and what an amazing phone it is. It's even better than my phone that I had for 4 years. And then Leo went to this guy. He poked at his phone a couple of times. He says, "Oh, this is crazy," you know. He's like, "I don't understand what's going on with your phone." And then all of a sudden, his phone started working. Just all of a sudden. So I was like, "Wow, it's the wrath of Cyndee around our phones." But that goes hand in hand with electronics here. When we were at Beyond Today, we had an office there, and then what would happen is the router. Since January, when Cyndee's energy really started evolving in January, and since January, we've had 5 different routers at Beyond Today, and it would just she'd smoke them, and people would actually see an orb going through the place and heading right to the electronics, where we had a whole bunch of the router and all the electronic stuff and everything else put together in this one little cabinet, and this orb would head right to that, and it was like it wanted to manifest. And so we kept thinking that Cyndee's essence that wants to manifest, that she has a story that she wants to tell. And when the physical does not meet the essence and that quite yet, and the words don't come out quite yet, the spiritual is going to find, or the essence is going to find a way to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where your projection, when you start projecting things and able to project stuff and everything else, not even knowing that you're able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a fascinating concept of how you were able to even come across this.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I noticed something, unique about myself, quite a while ago, a few years ago, I think, or 2, 3 years ago, whatever it started. And then just actually that was just things that I personally noticed. But then, evolved to, things appearing on phones and on the walls and, what have you. And, for example, this one morning I have this beautiful glass incense holder, and it's purple and it has a moon goddess on it. And so I was carrying it because I was going to empty it, and I was admiring it. So in other words, what I'm saying is that I was in tune to that moment. And fast forward to an hour or two later, I'm talking to Rod on the phone, and we get off the phone, and I get this picture sent to me. And it's this beautiful picture. It's very colorful, and all these moon goddesses are on this colorful picture. And I'm like, oh my gosh! I'm like, Rod. I was just this morning, admiring my glass incense holder with the moon goddess, and bam, there it is, right there. And this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about that has happened to me multiple times. I mean, and that was, several months ago, earlier this year that happened. Just a couple weeks ago, I was thinking about the Magdalene and the power of the Magdalene, and I was thinking about the color orange and infinity, and I'm not kidding you. We hung up the phone again or something, and
You hadn't even mentioned this to me either.
No, and I said nothing to you. This is like in my mind. I'm like
Right.
seeing this or feeling this or thinking this or what have you. And but we were at the moment talking about the Magdalene and the power of the Magdalene. And no kidding, it's just like we hung up the phone again, and another picture came through, and it was this beautiful, kind of animated picture of this beautiful Magdalene,
Right, yeah.
Mary Magdalene, gorgeous, red hair, fire red hair, and there was like 2 rings at the bottom that symbolize like the infinity. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about orange, and there's like orange and yellow on her outfit or top or something, and then around her aura.
Right, yeah, her aura, yep.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my goodness, I just now was thinking about all of that just a few minutes ago. And then, so not only did the picture come through, but also a message came through as well. And it said the power of the Magdalene. And I was like, oh my goodness, we were just talking about that.
Exactly.
And
well, it ended up being a book and everything else, so we were directed to,
well,
right?
That was another picture, yeah, because I think it was the same day or day later or something.
Yeah.
You sent somehow your computer or something came up on Google of a picture of a book.
Yeah. Well,
the power
no.
of Magdalene.
I think what happened was somebody said you need to look up the power of the Magdalene, and somebody had told us when we were told the story of that, and so I Googled it and found out it was a book. And that's how we ended up finding out that. Of course, we sat there at the same time we Googled it and everything. I said, I'm ordering this book.
Yeah. I just got it a couple days ago.
Got it a couple days ago. Have you read out of it yet?
Oh, no, not yet. I'm kind of busy. But anyways, I will. I'm excited to look at it.
So you take a look at that and step back a little bit. And that, what is the universe saying to you? What is it talking, saying? You know,
Well, definitely that there's this power of the Magdalene energy or some sort of higher feminine energy within me, and it's something that needs to be shared. It's something that somehow I need to figure out a way to share this and talk about this energy and project it out there because it's coming to me for an absolute certain reason. And, all these signs and all these beautiful messages and crazy pictures and messages, they're all like amazing. And so something needs to be done. And what you heard with me standing in front of an audience, you and Leo and Cynthia, is just what I've been told by other people and what I feel in my within me, that I do want to be in front of a crowd of people and share whatever this word is, whatever this energy is, whatever this message is that the universe is trying to send to me. And something's coming out.
it is. Oh, absolutely. I got a flashback of that. I remember. Oh my gosh, this is way back. It was before we even started really hanging out. Then you started getting messages about pie. Remember that?
Oh yeah, PI.
Oh my gosh, it was just funny. Is that I was just got flashback to that. And we're both being very kind of sensitive about this because it's like, okay, where are these messages coming from? Who are these messages and everything else? And you got this text message from this anonymous number or whatever else. Then you ended up calling it back, and it was some lady in New York that had no idea how a message came from her phone.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, so now we're kind of like, okay, so we know this is kind of out there and everything else, but you have to understand that there's a lot of people out there right now that don't believe in that, this can't happen, and I have clients myself that come to me and say, I get these weird messages and everything else. I think somebody's trying to
Or the
mess with me.
orbs. The orbs.
Oh my gosh, just lately the orbs, that was amazing, wasn't that?
Yeah.
So we take these pictures at the Franciscan Renewal Center, and we have these two beautiful orbs right next to us, saying that's wearing the same colors as we are, and it's amazing. It's like, it's just there's so much about this that is just above and beyond. But what I was trying to say is that we have clients that go through this and see things and let's just let it go because they think that somebody else is trying to mess with them or they're trying to control them in some way by using these messages. And it's kind of sad that these spiritual messages that are coming through are pretty amazing. And it's really interesting talking to a few people that they believe that. No, we don't believe that these messages are here. We don't, it's kind of sad.
Well, it is, but maybe just reflect back to our beginning. We were kind of, scratching our head, and even still to this day, we kind of go, what? But we've been dealing with this. I mean, when I say dealing with it in a good way,
Right.
Experiencing this for so long now, a year and a half, 2 years pushing, and so we got it, but still we still get amazed. Just real quick, yesterday, for example, I chatting with Rod on the phone in the morning time, and I said, okay, I want to have I said that loud to the universe, and I said, I want to have a heart and a purple background picture come through. And I said, Rod, not from you, but from the universe.
Not from you.
Not from you, Rod. And he gets a little tickled pink when I say that. He gets a little frustrated. He's like, I don't do those things, Cyndee, but I always have to throw it at him anyways, just for the heck of it. But anyways, I did say that. And lo and behold, a little bit later on, he was with a client, and an experience happened, which was, once again, a picture popped up on his phone. And his client knew what the picture was about. It's a picture of what she called the Sophia Mandela, right?
Yeah, Mandela.
And which is, or something about the bride of God or something, right?
The light of God or the bride of God. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was like, okay, that's really cool. Well, okay, now mind you, I hadn't seen this yet. This is what these two were experiencing because his client saw the picture pop up on his phone and blah blah blah.
And then it goes to your account and it starts sending it from my phone. Yes.
Yes, yeah, because my profile popped up on your phone for which that's what happens typically. And so I'm at my other place working, and I'm talking to a client, well, a friend actually, and she and I are chatting, and all of a sudden I felt this energy come through, and she goes, "Whoa, Cyndee, are you okay?" And I go, "Oh yeah." She goes, "You're shifting, you're changing something. What's going on?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "This huge energy is coming through. It feels like a breath of loving, beautiful energy, yet it's really kind of strong, and it kind of takes me away." Um, so I was just trying to, be in the moment, still listen to her talk, and trying to figure out what the message is or what was happening. And I just told her, I said, look, this is what came to me. I said, I feel like I see this golden, like let's just say, for example, if the sun was rising behind somebody's head, and so you had this like half a disc or, behind this person's head, but it wasn't yellow, it was like gold.
Gold, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. And I'm telling her, I'm saying, this is what I see behind you, and I'm not sure why I'm seeing this. And I said, and the word gram came to me. She goes, "Oh, well, gold comes in grams." And I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Whatever that message is for, I don't know if it's for you or for me or for both, what have you. So I go to look at my phone because we're making plans, and on my calendar, I go, "Oh, we just missed, 11:11 because it was 11:15." And so I made reference to that. Well, a few minutes later, 10 minutes later, whatever it was, my phone dinged and I looked at it and there was a picture on there from Rod's phone. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And this time he did actually send it. He told me, what I had, mentioned to you folks a few minutes ago. And I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. There's this beautiful picture of this goddess like, but it's like kind of very universal looking. It's not like a portrait. It's not a painting. It's very geometrical kind of looking and very, futuristic looking kind of, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
With some symbols in it. Well, here's the thing. My heart was in the picture there. It was on the goddess, the lady, and the card, or the picture was like a card, and the background was purple. I'm like, oh my goodness, there is my heart and my purple. And then behind her, though, was that same golden half circle. I'm like, oh my gosh, there it is. That is what I saw, and didn't know it until I saw that picture 15, 20 minutes, or no, 10 minutes later, whatever it was. And I was like, there it was. So these are things that I can project, I guess, or I just say it and it happens, and it's just so amazing.
So here comes the question then.
Okay.
So is your essence putting these thoughts in your head to see it? Or are you seeing it, then the essence is making it happen?
That is a super good question. I named her Bella, by the way, or actually, she told me what her name was.
Bella.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. It was one of those crazy nights.
Sausage and soup night.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Had very little of that
Absolutely.
night.
Good thing we're still invited back to that restaurant.
Seriously. Man, when that essence, she wanted to come out, she just like wanted to bust through my body.
Oh, she did.
Whew.
Yep.
Whew. Anyways, I don't know.
Alien.
Yeah, totally. So she definitely was growing within. I'm not sure. That's a really good question. I don't know when I hear these things or see these things if she's projecting them to me or what. I don't know, because it's like I'll see things and it's like, oh my gosh, there it is. I'm not sure, Rod.
Well, it's a good question.
It is a good question. How about, will you answer it?
Do you want me to answer how I see it?
Yeah.
Well, I see that you perceive things and you predict things. Things are predictable, okay? And your essence is actually showing it to you. You've been doing this for a long time. Okay? You will see something happen, and it happens. It's just you're not been aware of it. Mm-hmm. And out there's a lot of people that are like that. They're just not aware of it. When you became aware of your surroundings and aware of what you're thinking and saying, that, and aware of how your body is feeling, that's when you really start connecting that awareness. You know what's yours and what's somebody else's. That's the most important thing.
Right.
But you have to connect. When you start connecting that body and your essence together and working in unison, that your predictions, your sight, whatever you're going to see, your clairvoyance, that is magnitude. I mean, it's a beyond. So right. It's a perception that you're actually seeing these, is that you're seeing it before it happens. You know it's coming. Right. And you can ask for stuff and to know it. And it's the thing is that the funny thing is that's what manifestation is. Is you manifest it. Cynthia and I used to play a game that is like, to really tell where you're at in your life, and that in your manifestation is if you're in a city and that and you're driving around and you say, I want to see a yellow car, okay? That how long it takes for you to see a yellow car is how where we're at in the universe and how much you care about yourself and feelings and everything else. Because all these emotions will help you manifest. And look, there's a yellow car going by right now.
It sure is. It's like one of those Nissan Xteras, huh?
Xteras, yes. So what the thing is you got to think about that is that when we ask for something, depending on how long it takes to come is how in tune we are with the world.
So we must be pretty doggone tuned right now because you just barely got that out.
I just barely just drove by.
And there drove by.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
So, but that's with you too. Is that when you're in tune to things, you're thinking things happen. And the things is that because yours is becoming bigger and grander. Okay, it needs more energy. That's why electronics are starting to go out and everything else. That you're needing that electronics to build up more energy. That I think you need to focus. That's why I think that you need to get away for a weekend. You just sit in peace and just allow this energy to come to you. And it's very important to you, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm totally agreeing with you.
Too, yeah,
absolutely. And I think I believe she is just ready to spread her wings, and my body can't. I won't allow it to get any bigger than what it is on a physical form. No,
by the way,
she really...
Cyndee is so good looking. She's a beautiful soul, and she's got a great body. And there goes another yellow car. See, that's not for real. And she's just worried about how her energy is expanding, and she's feeling that her body expanding with it. And it's not so. I mean, she sees it as that, but it's like, you ever have that feeling that somebody talks about? Just for instance, I have a client that used to talk about her son. Her son was this big guy that she was scared of because she feared her life about this because he's so huge. He could knock her around and everything else, and she was so worried about this guy, her son. And I said, bring him in. Let's talk. Let's get something going on with that. So her son came in with her. Wait, now this woman, I say she's about 5'8" in height. Okay, she's not a small woman. She's a good sized woman. And I was like, man, her son must be huge to be scared her that bad. Her son was not over 5 foot tall.
Oh boy.
Probably 110 pounds.
Oh my.
But her perception of what she saw of him is
felt
from him that because his energy was huge. He sat in that chair and he was big.
Wow.
His energy was huge and everything else. He didn't know what to do with it. And that's what scared her so bad is that he has this huge energy that made him even bigger than ever.
Wow, and that's what I think a lot of people see and or feel around me and within
Absolutely.
me. And they see this beauty beyond, that I don't even think sometimes I can see, but there's a connection that they connect with me. My eyes can definitely...
piercing eyes.
Yeah, I get in trouble sometimes because they're piercing. The thing is that they're not like piercing in the sense of color wise, like some people with that like icy blue eyes or bright green. It's not that; it's a different kind of piercing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Actually, my eyes are very they're beautiful, like forest green, right?
Yes, they are. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
Forest green.
I always call it money green, greenback green.
Greenback green. Oh, I like that.
But so there's nothing light about them, but they're very people can see through my eyes and into my soul.
Well, there's an intensity with your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It's not. You can see beyond. There's another universe on the other side of your eyes, and that you look into your eyes, and that is like, you can get lost in them. You can see different universes, and I've explained to you that what universe I see beyond your eyes, and it's more than you could ever imagine. And
it is.
It's an awesome feeling to know that you have those type of eyes. So when you're having a good hair day and you have a good eye day,
I'm having a great day.
You're having a great day. Exactly. But it is. Remember, everything runs on our emotions and feelings and everything else.
Oh, sure.
The happier we are, the more we feel about things, the happier we get.
Oh, yeah. Well, the brighter your whole aura and your whole energy,
absolutely,
shines.
I remember somebody had told you. Yeah, exactly. Somebody told you, Cyndee, you need to go find your happy.
Right.
And that's that whole concept of that. Is the happier we are, the more things happen for us. And that's why we said what's in line. That's when I said, hey, I want to see a yellow car. Let's say red car this time, okay? I want to see a red car. It's depending on how happy I am. Look at It's a
There it
red
goes.
car.
Right on.
It really is. It depends on how happy you are and where you're at with your life and that, and how fast this will happen for you.
I
I
think we
truly
should
believe
throw
it.
out there. Let's see a pink vehicle.
You want to see a pink car?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
that's
let's
yours.
really
Well, this because you and I
see
are both
pink.
wearing pink and everything else and that. And so this is Cindy's question. Oh, look, that's not pink. Thought it was pink at first. That's pretty cool. But so Cindy wants to see a pink car. And that we're still at the Beyond Today office and that, and there's a huge window that overlooks the lake, and we're looking onto the street and that, and so we asked for a pink car. So,
Yes, we did. Put it out there, pink car.
yes, I'm excited to see a pink car now.
No, me too.
Yeah,
Or something close to it.
aren't you happy, huh? Why haven't you seen a
I
pink
know,
car yet?
I am happy. Pink is
That's
pretty rare.
crazy.
Pink is pretty
Yeah,
rare.
well, that's maybe why we need to stick with more of the basic colors of the crayon box. Miss Color Woman.
I know, right?
There's a maroon.
Ooh, that was close.
That's really
It
close.
was like a
But look
burgundy,
at the white one right beside it.
There
Imagine
you
if
go.
you take that white and that burgundy.
and it makes pink.
That makes pink. There you
There
go.
you go.
Absolutely. Oh, that would be you, right?
I know. I want to reflect real quick back to the pictures of Jesus and Mary Magdalene.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Earlier this year, this is October of 2017. Earlier this year, before even April came around, like Easter time. Before that, like months even before that, when I'd be talking to Rod on the phone, I would hear this gong sound, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, there's the gong sound." Well, it evolved from me hearing it through his phone to hear it beyond today, and then other people hear it beyond today. Were starting to hear the gong sound. Well, this one morning, actually, it was Easter morning. My mom, she has these different movies, you know, the robe and the Ten Commandments, etc. And she always likes to play them on Easter. So that morning she was playing the movie The Robe. And I'm in the bathroom getting ready and I hear gong and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the same gong that I hear because it's kind of a unique sound. It's not like your typical, you know, solid disc or gong, right?
Right, right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, look, that's it. I gotta go running out there. I'm like, Mom, rewind the movie. I want to hear it again and see it again. Well, so of course it's about Jesus and what have you. And so they played the part with the gong and they hit it. And it's actually one of those gongs that has a hole in the middle.
Looks
So it's
like
like
a
a
donut.
donut. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why it sounds unique. It's because
Right.
it's a different kind of gong.
Absolutely.
So I was like, here we go. And then that whole time from December last year, January of this year, I was getting messages, or we were getting messages and pictures of Jesus and or Mary Magdalene. And anyways, it just evolved and got stronger and stronger and stronger to, you know, that point to hear the gong. Well, then,
Dan.
yes, yeah, right. So remember we were watching the Da Vinci Code.
Absolutely.
I had never seen it. We were just minding our business, you know, watching the movie, and they got to the part where the professor or whatever, or what have you, whatever he is, he was telling the crew or the people, excuse me, about the Holy Grail and the V, and you know, and how it represents the feminine. That's a symbol. And oh my gosh, he started talking about that, and I just felt this huge, overwhelming energy come through. Like it was so, like it was like gut wrenching almost.
Right,
It
yes.
didn't hurt. It wasn't
Right.
in pain, but it looked like if somebody didn't know any better, looking at me, they would have thought I was like in pain or in
Oh, absolutely.
labor,
Yeah. Yep.
like labor pain. And my mom, she was sitting 2 rooms over in a different family room, and she's like, Cyndee, I feel that. What is going on? You know, and I'm like, and I couldn't even talk. I couldn't breathe. And Rod was sitting there, and he was just, you know, guiding me and, you know, just comforting me because he's experienced this with me before. And I was like, oh my gosh, so there's something magical about the Magdalene and the Holy Grail. There's something every time that we have this conversation, or the Crusaders comes up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of launched part of the reason why I was doing the feminine podcast, because I know there's a message out there. There is. I know this energy is out there right now, and there's got to be some more words with it. So all these different fragments of our podcast today, me mentioning different times of me getting the.
Sorry. No pink car. That's the third pink car since you started talking.
Oh, is it red?
No, it was pink this time. Real pink. Seriously, I'm not kidding.
Well, why didn't you have me look?
Well, I did. I pointed that one time.
Oh.
Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Oh.
That was really good.
Lovely. So, anyways, all these different fragments of talking about the Magdalene and the feminine, I know that there's something, an energy within me that needs to be spoken, and it's coming out. It's about ready to be birthed. Let's just say.
Well, I think that's why we're going to keep doing more of these podcasts and things like that because it needs to be brought out. And you're going to be doing more talks, and you got a gathering of souls. You're gathering, right? Of some beautiful soul women that
I do, and men too.
and men. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's just we're not. You're not not dismaying men. You know, in any which way, shape, or form.
Oh, heck no.
There's no such thing as feminine and masculine in this thing.
No, it's because it's energies. It's feminine energies. It's the masculine energies.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of men out there that have the feminine energy. I have it.
You have it. And actually, I've been meeting a lot of men lately in my life that are like that. And that's why they connect with me. You know,
absolutely
they feel that feminine energy.
Yep, absolutely. I have very, very strong energies around everybody lately. And that. So, but there's something that's coming for you, right? I mean, you know that we're creating something, building something that can you feel it?
Oh, I feel something in my bones.
Yeah,
absolutely. I just haven't pinpointed it yet, and I know I get messages. I came up with this really great thing on the mountain. I'm always talking about, we always have to heal and work on our, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I always used to say it in that order. And I was on the mountain about a month ago, and I'm like, I was recreating that in my head, I'd like to change from spiritual being at the end of those words to at the beginning. What can I do with that? What's a play on that I can use? And so I'm on the mountain, and she's just beautiful. I always, am able to release and receive messages. And the word super me came to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. So super me. So the way I wrote it out or saw it in my head and I wrote it out is the word super. So the S is capitalized for spiritual, small u, capital P for physical, small ER. So that's my super, right? So there's my spiritual and physical. And then me, of course, both letters are capital for mental and emotional. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. Super me. Well, super me is, about empowering yourself and improving yourself and working on all those elements of each of those aspects. And so I'm going to, use that as part of my what's coming up.
Right. Well, it's I know, Cyndee. You keep telling me it's like I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about. And
I know.
We spent almost an hour now just talking. And that's the important part is there's so much more to this, We've just scraped the barrel on this. We can go further into this about our hearts, feeling each other's hearts, and feeling hearts and understanding where our hearts are at.
And seeing them in all different ways.
Oh, absolutely. Have you ever seen somebody else's heart, what's in their own heart? I have. I got to look into yours, which was fascinating.
I got to look into yours.
I know.
We should share that story right now.
You want to share it?
Of course.
Okay,
they're going to love it.
They're going to love the story. Yeah.
So in the beginning,
there was man and woman. You were the woman, I was the man. Wow, there you go. So the fascinating thing is that we were getting to know each other, basically. We've known each other. We knew each other for 3 or 4 years prior to getting to know each other.
Right.
And it was really interesting. So you and I were sitting there and talking about something, and I can't remember how it started. That all I remember is we placed each other's right hand on each other's heart, right?
Yeah. We're sitting out on my patio, and we're
That's
like,
right. Yep.
And we were just like, hey, let's put each other's hands on each other's heart, and let's see what happens. It was just like kind of nonchalantly,
absolutely.
I think.
Yes. Yep.
And we did, and it was like, whoa.
Right. To be able to look into somebody's heart is beyond. There's a lot of words that can describe it, but they can't describe it. Because the feeling, first of all, is like the feeling of falling. Because there's no gravity what you're feeling. And then you feel like you're being taken away. You're being going through dimensions and dimensions that sucked right into this beautiful abyss.
It's an amazing thing. It's amazing, like home, love.
Home. Yeah, you hit it right there in love. Purity of that. you see the stars flash past you and everything else. You feel warm inside. You, there's a feeling of comfort. And then you feel like you get to this spot and you feel home. And when I looked, it was this crystal castle in the middle of the universe with all these beautiful stars and the or whatever the northern light type looking things.
The Aurora Borealis.
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
The Aurora Borealis,
There
or
you
whatever.
go. Anyway, just magnificent colors all around this crystal castle. And as I walked up to this crystal castle, then I felt I've been here. I felt home. I felt welcome. And as I walked into it, man, it was breathtaking. The beauty of this home. Never felt home like this before. I felt healed. I felt like energy was being fed to me. I found comfort in it. And it was the most elegant, beautiful feeling ever. Because my heart didn't even know it was pumping anymore. It's like I didn't even need to have to. And I looked at this crystal castle and the magnificence of it, the huge building that these crystals were just coming out of nowhere in the universe. Somewhere in the outskirts of time.
Mm.
Every time you looked, a different color was shining through these crystals. And it was so energetic and so love-filling. And as I opened the doors to enter into this beautiful abyss of beauty, just a beautiful smell, aroma came through. The feeling of being hugged by many angels' wings, walking on feathers, warmth just perfect, not too cold, not too hot. It's home. That's what I saw inside your heart.
Wow, thank you. It's super breathtaking.
It was.
Lucky you got to see and feel that.
Mm-hmm. You saw monkeys when you looked at mine.
I totally went cobwebs.
Cobwebs and monkeys.
No, for real. It was, so my experience is it was almost like I put my hand on your heart, and it was like a portal, and I just went. I was going, and like going, gone, kind of. And I got to a point where I saw in color. It wasn't bright colors. It was very beautiful, kind of antique-y, matte kind of colors. You know, it was antique looking sort of, but it was very colorful. And it was if as the source or God or what have you want to call it, the power to be was like probably sitting on this throne, let's just say. But what I saw was not that. What I saw were these angels that were flying in a circle. And I saw 2.5. The reason I say half is because they're obviously flying in a circle, and I could see the 2 very clearly, and the other one was like getting ready to come through and around as well. So obviously these angels were flying around or circling around something very majestic. Couldn't see that, but the feeling of being there and was so real. It was absolutely real. It was as if I was the one standing there, and these beautiful angels were flying around me. You know, that's what it almost would feel like. It was absolutely real, and it was just breathtaking. And when we decided to part, the thing is, like you said, when I was there, it took you to a whole other place, like home, like you said. It was just very warm, like you said. It was very warm. It was very comforting, you know? And when we had to like kind of come back, I did not come back very quickly. Do you remember that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was down for the count. Like,
yeah,
I was still
I was back
gone.
going, oh my God, did you see that? And I was like, oh, what's going on with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just because I was in a place that was just absolutely magical, beautiful, spiritual. I mean, of the highest. And those angels were beautiful. And they weren't like adult looking angels. They were almost like the cherub-looking angels.
Right, right.
And it, either way, it doesn't matter. They just were full of love. And anyway, so yeah, it took me quite a while to come back. You had to help bring me back, you
Once
know.
again,
And I remember just being like a limp noodle.
you were too. Sitting on your balcony, and she was in an apartment house, and her neighbors are walking by,
Yeah,
and she's all slumped in her chair, and they're like, ah. Like, oh,
yeah,
Sydney started drinking early.
right. So
But you said it was cherub, but you also said there was seraphim angels too, right?
no,
No, just
no.
the cherubs.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
they were definitely like um, mature in a sense, but not mature looking in a sense. They were, I don't know, they were just really pretty angels.
Well, cherub angels, they're
Hmm.
not the shooting the heart angels. Those are actually really warriors. Cherubs are. They're the ones who protected Adam and Eve's, the Garden of Eden and everything else that they were set. Cherubs were set there. They're not little cute little angels. They're very protective angels.
Well, and then maybe that's what it was probably like, you know, they were protecting whatever it is they were circling.
They were protecting my heart.
Probably.
Because remember, you stuck your foot right in my heart and you start making your home.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just opened up my chest and said, I'm home.
Yeah. But you know, I think it was also that night too, that you felt a rip. Remember when
Well, it was like a Velcro that.
yeah, I remember when I
Yeah,
took my hand away,
yep,
it took, you went away in that respect
right. I
because you
did.
felt
Yep,
something physical.
physically rip in my chest, and that it did. It felt like a Velcro was being ripped off, and that when you took your hand away, and it was like, whoa, what the heck was that? But what it was doing was expanding. I knew that it was expanding, but it did. It felt like Velcro that was expanding. Kind of crazy stuff, huh?
Yeah. But it was beautiful. If you out there have not experienced what we call quote unquote home or your home, I I enlighten you to figure out a way to do that. You know, you can do that within yourself. You can find someone who's very spiritual and, you know, maybe, you know, touch them. I'm not sure exactly how to do this, but there's a way that you can figure out how to find a home. And when you know it's home is when, or how you know it's home is when you feel this beautiful, like Rod was saying, this warmth, this comfort, this love, this amazing, almost it's hard to describe feeling, but
Right.
that's about the best you can say.
Well, it's interesting, because I was doing a little studying in that. I found out that there's original 12, original 24, original 36 in that. And they say that you feel that when you find the person that has been the original, part of the originals.
Mm.
So when you give them a hug, you can feel that because they're part of that original. Now, what I've been studying about and talking to other gurus about this is that when this original 36 and that are out there, because it's 12, 24, and 36 and that, this original massive amount of people that are out there, is that we have found each other. But the thing is that we can make it grow. 36 is supposed to grow into 72, blah, 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 and onward and onward. And that has been what this is supposed to be about. This is life. We're supposed to be sharing this knowledge and sharing it out, and not just with the original 36. We give our love and hugs to one of the originals, and they get our information and they go on and on and on. And we start sharing and we start spreading this love all over the place. And I think this is what was really needed now, is that we find that love.
Oh, I think so, and I think it probably just comes back to this golden age, the Aquarian age, and that I think this age really is about. Interesting enough, the golden age, and what did I see behind, you know, the energy
The gold.
yesterday? The gold behind that goddess mother. Um, wow, that's pretty cool. I just came up with that. Thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, but it makes perfect
Oh,
sense
absolutely.
because this is the feminine energies that are coming in and coming through because we need balance out here. And we need balance in our world. You know, it's been the masculine way for so long. And I mean that like an egotistical way, you know, ego way. And we need to bring this balance of the true male or masculine energies, but yet bring in the beautiful female energies. And so she's pushing her way through right now, you know, with full force because she needs to bring this to a balance. And I believe that this is what needs to be shared and what we're all feeling.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. We just got started, didn't we?
I know,
it's already
right?
time. We're going to have to wrap things up here. If you ever wanted to be a guest on our podcast, or you want to sponsor one of our podcasts, that you can call us or text us. We got now. Did you know we have a phone number that they can call or text now?
Is that the googly oogly eye one?
No,
Oh.
It's our business phone.
Oh,
the Rod and Cyndee podcast business.
Cyndee Rod.
Rod and Cyndee podcast. It is 480-788-9580, and you can actually text it or call it. Now, if you want to, you can text or call and say it's the Rod and Cyndee podcast or the Cyndee and Rod podcast. We can vote on that. But yeah, if you ever want to sponsor one of our podcasts or be one of our guests in that, just give us a call. We'll see if we can line you up. And that you don't have to be here, but you do have to be someplace where there's internet access and you're savvy with a computer. We love our guests, we love who they are, but sometimes they call us up and say, "Okay, I'm ready to call you." We don't take phone call interviews. It's all through the internet because it has a better connection and everything else. We don't use the phone for any of our connections. So if there's any questions or you would like to comment on our podcast, it's 480-788-9580 and the Rod and Cyndee or Cyndee and Rod podcast. And look us up. We're all over the place. You're going to have more of these. We love doing this stuff. So anything else to say, dear, before we go?
Oh, I just want to say thank you once again, all of you lovely people out there who enjoy listening to our podcast. The spiritual aspect of this is amazing, and we want to share more of our experiences because we believe, like Rod was saying, people are experiencing things and they're not sure what it is, or they're afraid, or they're having these awakenings, etc., etc. And with that being said, our stories are pretty, crazy amazing too. People are actually seeing these experiences happen at that moment. So it's not, we have actual witnesses, if you will. I'm super excited to share more of these experiences. Somehow I think we'll incorporate whatever we talk about. We'll incorporate some of the pictures that come along with these messages because I want to actually start reading some of these text messages that were coming through, or the pictures. So we will figure out a way to do that.
We can do that. Yes, we actually can superimpose it, put it in. We can actually make our podcast into a YouTube.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we can actually
lovely.
Just put the pictures on there with it and everything else, which would be kind of cool too.
That's perfect. That is it. That's how we're going to go, guys. And I think that's going to be perfect because we want you to see and experience what we've been seeing and experiencing. Because I believe it's going to raise your vibration. When you raise your vibration, other people around you want to be, raised as well. And so this is our message for you all. And thank you so much. I am blessed to be back, and I'm super excited to continue our spiritual journey.
Absolutely. Now, remember, if you have a story, too, you'd like to share with us, but don't want to be on our podcast, you can call us or text us at 480-788-9580. Just let us know your story, and that we can share it without your name or anything else. But people need to know these stories. They need to hear this stuff. The people need to know that they're not crazy. This is not the time to be crazy. This is the time just to be awakened.
Oh, yeah. The universe is definitely speaking of high volumes right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cyndee, it's always a pleasure to sit across from you and look at you all day with your piercing eyes and listen to you talk and that. And, yeah, this is fun.
Thank you. It was a pleasure as well, Rod. And
absolutely. I'm having a good hair day, too, today.
You are having a good hair day and a good hot pink T-shirt day. I have my pink hat on because it's October. We're kind of sporting the breast cancer awareness. My girlfriend was diagnosed last year and she's doing really good.
Yep.
Sonia, I love you.
Love you, Sonia. One last thing, October 28th and 29th in Tempe, Arizona, we are going to be doing, along with Zach Lyman, doing a boot camp on social media. We're actually going to have a podcast there. We're actually going to have other people do podcasts and webinars and going to learn how to make a Facebook ad and everything else. That we're going to actually have hands-on. That's a 2-day class. I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. Hey, maybe we can share a couple little bits of our experiences, huh?
Absolutely, I think so.
Yeah.
I think we should.
I think we should.
I think so too. If you want more information about that class too, and that's 480-788-9580, and that one of us, Cyndee or Rod, will get back to you, and you guys have a pleasant day today, okay?
Yep. Sweet dreams and love, love, love.
Love you all. Bye now.